Hi guys, I'm EVM and welcome to a very windy North Yorkshire moors. Over there is Fylingdales, which we're absolutely not filming at all, if anybody's watching. This is the Polestar 2, a car I've been waiting ages to get hold of since I first saw it at the Goodwood Festival of Speed back in July 2019. And even managed to get to talk to the designer of the car for quite some time, so I already feel like I'm familiar with it. Now from the outset, this looks like it's got very good ingredients. It's Volvo engineered. It's a sportier kind of tilt on a Volvo effectively, but it's not a ground-up EV. That usually rings alarm bells for me personally because ground-up EVs have usually an advantage over a hybrid chassis or a Mercedes EQC type car, which is just a petrol engine version made into an electric car. So have Volvo managed to get over those compromises, or as there's still a few things here which don't quite work when you have to fit, let's face it, a petrol engine under the bonnet? Yeah, it's a good idea to do it on top of moors when it's not windy at all. Okay, as usual, let's have a look around the outside, then the inside, and we'll take it for a drive. This is it, and it's clearly got Volvo DNA in it. You can see a lot of similarities with the XC40, which this is effectively based on. You've got the Thor Hammer light-inspired kind of like design. Same down here as well. The wheels I'll show you in a second, but there's basically a Nordic theme going on there. This grille, unnecessary for an EV, so I think this is more of a make people familiar with it sort of thing. It does hide sensors and cameras and stuff, but other cars don't. They put that behind the plastic, so I'm not sure if this is necessary basically, but it's an aesthetic thing. That's up to you if you like it or not. It's a very flat front end. Not the most aerodynamic car in EV terms, but it is aerodynamic. But it's wide. It's got a bit of presence, so I do quite like it. But it's not the best looking, personally, for me. Tell me what you think in the comments. From the side, you can see clearly this is effectively an SUV, and we'll touch on that more in the video. It's very, very tall. Also, a lot of ground clearance. So it's an SUV sort of crossover. Not sure how to pigeonhole it for me personally, because it kind of looks like a sports saloon. You've got this kind of these creases here, which give it a bit of aesthetic quality if you like. I'm not sure what this is for. This sticker telling you, it's like what you see on the bottom of IKEA, a box rail. It's a bit unnecessary, but again, you could peel it off, I suppose. 20-inch wheels, which come with the performance pack. Again, I want to come back to that later on in the video. But it's got that kind of Thor's Hammer approach as well. I quite like them, and it's got the big Brembo brakes. Again, part of the performance pack. This rear door, let's look at that first, if you can open it. Not the greatest access, if I'm honest. There's a bit of kind of like you have to contort yourself into it. But again, we'll look around the inside and the rear space in a second. Bit unusual the fact you've got door handles. It's usually kind of hidden or flush in some way on a modern EV, so that for me is telling me that it's coming from another vehicle, the XC40. But again, it's kind of a design decision, so it's not really going to ruin the car, is it? This black pillar here kind of makes it look like it's got a C shape, almost like it's designed to make it look like it's going forward when it's stood still. The rear for me personally isn't its better looking kind of angle. I do like the LED light going all the way across. I just feel like it's missing a spoiler or something. And I know it's kind of part of the minimalist design, but I don't know, maybe it's my age, but I think this would look better as an estate. What do you think? Now, it's very dirty, obviously, because we're driving it around the North Yorkshire moors, but the button for the boot is here. Very dirty. It's not so much of a problem though, because all Polestars, come on, there we go, come with that, which usually works actually very well. That's the first time it's not worked. I'm going to see if it's going to work this time, promise. Oh, come on! There we go. It does, it's worked every time. The whole week I've had this. It's a pretty decent sized boot, certainly good enough for a family. You've got the air brake there to stop things rolling around your boot. And if you lift this up, there's a decent hole there, if not an oddly shaped one for whatever you want to bury under there. So it's not quite as big as some of its rivals, but I think that's perfectly suitable for any family sort of vehicle, which this sort of is. I'm going to use the button on this occasion to shut it. Charging flap. This goes up to 150 kilowatts, of course, if you can find a charger to match it. And yeah, it's a charging flap. Nothing more to show you there. I just get the feeling that it's just a bit too tall. You know, that needs to be a bit lower. Bear in mind that this is slightly lower due to the performance pack as well. It's high up, which again doesn't kind of lend itself to that sportiness. I don't know. What do you think? Now, of course, like the Tesla, this has got a fruit. And yes, I call it a fruit. We're in the UK after all. I would show you it, but I can't do it from the key fob nor my phone. I have to go inside the car, effectively open the latch as if I was opening the bonnet to check my oil or something. Find your way to the little yellow bit, there we go. And then you get to it. So it's basically, I'm opening the bonnet to look at my engine to access the fruit compartment. And now if we could bring you in closer so I can show you how big it isn't. Clearly this is just designed for cables because that's all you can pretty much fit in it. This is where a bit of a compromise for me comes in. This would be bigger if this was a ground up EV. So that's just one example I think that we've found so far. Now let's get on the inside so I can feel my hands again, because every time I do this it's freezing. I want to do it in summer. Right then, door handles. You can touch that, by the way, to lock and unlock the car. Okay, let's start with the clearly obvious Volvo parts bin. So yeah, you'll be familiar with this if you are familiar with the Volvos, but that's not criticism. I don't mind that at all. So yeah, you've got some black gloss buttons here, which of course you know what I'm going to say about that. It's just going to be full of fingerprints. It feels all right. It's a steering wheel. It does the job. Again, typical switch gear. Feels very solid. I like the handle there. That's nice. This stuff here is what you call premium material, I suppose, in a sort of vegan way. And then we get to this display here, which I can only turn on if I put the car into drive and then back into park again. And you have to click OK every time you get in the car. That's slightly annoying. But yeah, this looks really cool when it's in this. This is the matte mode, of course. If I press this button here, you can cycle through a couple of options, so it looks slightly different. This now, I want to talk about that more in detail because I actually had a hand in designing how this works. It's effectively Google Automotive OS. It does work very well, but there is a few things which I find you need to press too many buttons to get to them. So that can change with software updates. I'm not worried about that at all. So I do like this a lot. Down here you've got a wireless phone charger, 2 USB-C ports, so that's nice and modern. And then we get to, of course, more black gloss, la 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 la. And yes, usual sort of thing. It's scratched buggery as this. You can't see it in this light, but it is absolutely full of minor scratches and fingerprints. And that's what it looks like after just, well, nearly 6,000 miles. This is the gear selector, so you pull it back for drive, forward for reverse, and park button there. I really like this. It feels nice. I do like that a lot. Yeah, that's good. This is adjusting the volume and play for the stereo. Once more, this I want to come back to because that is one of the most annoying things I've come across in any car. But again, I need to come back to that to give my point. Cup holder here in what Harry has assured me is sanitizer. Definitely sanitizer, thank you. So you've got a cup holder here, which is fine until you want... There? Yeah, oh, hang on a minute, I'll use the armrest. No, I won't. Failure there, so let's take that for a second. If I click that, there is some storage.
Oh, so
you can put it there.
Oh, yep.
But then you can't use the armrest, of course. So basically, even though that comes out, I should point out, so you do have more storage. But if you want to use the armrest, there is no cup storage effectively in this entire car. You can, of course, use the door bins that you can just about see there. It's all right for bottles, but yeah, you're not going to be putting your hot coffee in there. So again, a little bit of an ergonomic, weird decision for me. The materials around the dash, again, what you'd expect from effectively a premium car. No rattles, I'm not worried about that at all. Harman Kardon speaker system. That's a big speaker there. It's almost like a sound bar. So yeah, there's loads of them. I think there's 13. Glove box. Will you fit your gloves in the glove box?
Yes.
Wow. And look, you can even get a manual as well. So that's very good. Now the seat. These is the vegan interior, and they are comfortable. Fair to say.
I think they are comfortable. Yeah.
Fairly sporty, but I personally prefer leather or even fake leather seats to this material.
Like it's made out of a wetsuit.
Like a wetsuit, yeah. So personal preference, it's up to you. But yeah, they're comfortable enough for me. As standard for these versions anyway, I don't know if it's going to be for the cheaper ones when they come out, panoramic roof. And that's really cool in the back seat anyway, because it's like most panoramic roofs, you can't see it as a driver. But yeah, I do like that. That makes it nice and airy, and you do need that extra space because headroom's pretty good up front, but in the back, not so much. As usual, we have the seat here put in a position for someone's about 6 foot. Good amount of room, so plenty of room. I can spread out, yeah, I'm happy with that. You have some vents here, nice and solid. You've got 2 USB-C ports, kind of shoehorned in a 12-volt adapter thing. That's going to come off when the kids start playing with it. Heated seats in the rear, at least on this particular version. So yeah, I've got a lot of space, as will that person. This one not so much, because of course we have a transmission tunnel down here. Again, we will touch on that later on in the video. But the headroom, I am not a tall person, 5'6", 5'7"-ish. My head is touching that. And I've got that much room above me. So basically, you're not going to get anyone tall in the back who's not going to be craning the neck a little bit to fit in. Usually not a problem in most family cars because you're only going to get kids or maybe teenagers in the back. But for me, I would treat this as a 4-seater car because, as usual, the centre bench is kind of pointless. So let's have a look what it's like on the road, because we've had this for the past week. And there is a few things that I do feel I need to bring up. Right, now I think we need to point out the annoyances I mentioned earlier on. Yeah. Because there is one thing which is driving me insane after driving this for the past several days for work, just normal day-to-day driving, and it's this. Right, so I'm in a position now of what I normally drive in. Yeah, I can reach the pedals. This is what I've been doing this entire sort of filming session. But look, all I have to do is slightly move my knee to the left. When you're kind of cruising on a motorway and you relax a bit, you spread. Again, I just keep whacking it on there. This side's fine. This leg's fine. It's just here. Bang, bang.
Oh, what, over 6 foot and 15 stone? I don't think.
A heavier set person, to put it politely, I think will struggle.
Really?
I mean, there's not a lot of room here. And then we get to the volume control knob, which again, you do this. You're going over the gear lever to get to it.
It does make me wonder why that isn't...
Yeah, or on, you're like the Mustang Mach-E where it's part of the touchscreen.
Yeah.
I'm doing that to get to it.
It does seem a slight oversight, doesn't it?
This is an SUV. Okay, well, in fact, let me read out what Polestar themselves say, because some people call this a sports saloon hatchback. It's a hatchback.
We had to read the press release.
This is effectively what it says on the press release. A vehicle whose proportions transfer the comfort and utility of an SUV or crossover, whose looks inspire sport sedan imaginings. So effectively, they're saying this is an SUV/crossover that's meant to look sporty.
Like,
And I don't mind that at all. That is not a criticism. A sports car's a sports car. A practical car's a practical car. Crossovers tend not to
fit any.
Yeah,
they're not good at any of them, are they? Really?
A sports crossover.
Yeah, well, it's.
That's a BMW or X4.
X4, yeah.
The crossovers for me, it's like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
A butcher has a knife for that, a knife for that, a knife for that. They don't have one knife for everything.
Yeah.
And that's my personal preference. If I want a practical car, you get one with big space and lots of room.
I want an SUV, I get an SUV.
Yeah, this is a heavy car.
Oh, it's very
heavy. It's 300 kilograms heavier than the Model 3 long range.
And it feels it, though.
It does feel that. I mean, the one thing I should say that this, because we feel like we're having a go at this thing.
It's not, no.
And I feel like I'm having a go at it because I had high expectations.
I think I've seen a lot of people review this and say, oh, wow,
it's
brilliant. And then it's like when someone tells you about a film and how good it is.
Yeah.
And you got a picture and go, they said it was the best film they've ever seen.
We did talk to the designer for nearly an hour.
We did, yeah.
And that the chief guy.
Once he knew who you were, he wouldn't let you go.
We asked him a few questions, didn't we, when we were there? And said, why have you done that? Like the bonnet release.
The bonnet release, yeah.
And a few other things. And, and I said, well, EV terms. He went, look, at the end of the day, this is the chassis we have to work with.
Yeah, this is what we've been given.
He said, there are things I will do very differently in a ground-up EV that this restricts us to.
Polestar free.
Yeah, the next Polestar.
Yeah.
And I think that says it for me. He has basically said, this is what we've had to compromise with. The transmission tunnel is something in the EQC I mention all the time because it doesn't do anything. It's no purpose.
Yeah.
It's a leftover from the petrol engine chassis that's been made electric, and they haven't done anything with it. It's a waste of space. This has got the same thing, but they've actually put batteries in there. So I thought, okay, they've thought about it. But either way, that is a compromise.
Yeah,
that won't be there on a ground-up EV.
There's no need for it, is there?
No.
It's a good compromise.
A very good compromise.
They've done a very good job.
They have, yeah. Volvo, Polestar have done a very good job with what they've been given. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't change the fact they've been given that. Now, the one thing that we have to definitely agree on, that this is a quick car.
It is a quick car.
I mean, it's
very quick.
Yeah, it's got a huge amount of torque, and it does throw you back in the seats. But it does also hide that speed quite well, I found.
It's a bit, yeah.
Some people will like that. It's like, oh my god, I'm going faster than I thought I was. 20, 30, 40, 60.
Wow.
It don't throw you in the back as much as some others, but it accelerates.
It does.
Quick.
It keeps going.
And it goes faster than Polestar's official statistics suggest.
It does, yeah.
And when you get it on the twisties, you can feel the weight.
You can. It's
big time.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but you do find
the
yourself.
braking, it's a bit.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, come on then.
Bringing it to a rest.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few. Yeah, oh, chicane, perfect. Oh, I do love North Yorkshire. So it's so planted, but you do get lean because of that.
Wait.
Yeah. Oh, we're going over a bridge. Here we go. Would you class this as a driver-oriented car in terms of, like a BMW says, the ultimate driving machine, or the Taycan was designed around the driver first?
It's a strange one. It's got the performance,
Yeah.
but then sometimes it hides that, which means it's not as rewarding.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of SUV ride and handling, but a sports SUV.
Yeah.
But even a sports SUV isn't a sports car for me.
No.
It's almost like the car has to come out.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Polestar. I'm an SUV. There's nothing wrong with being an SUV. Why hide that fact?
I'm an SUV and I'm proud.
Yeah. Come on now. There's nothing wrong with it.
Not in this day and age.
Ah!
Again.
Ah! Right on the. Oh.
The thing is, when it gets you, it's right on the kneecap as well.
It is, yeah. The efficiency.
Oh, the efficiency.
We have the heater on, clearly. We've had the heated seats on, which don't make as much difference as
getting
people
old.
think.
We've got bad backs.
Yeah, bad backs, good. But effectively, driving around in 9 degrees on very efficient roads. So we've just been effectively driving from Skipton to Whitby. So I would call this an efficient run. We got 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour going effectively from Skipton to Pickering, and there were no traffic. We weren't putting the foot down. We were just thinking, let's get there to start filming. So we didn't do anything in any of that. 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Right now, in winter, we're getting less than 200 miles. And Polestar,
290?
nearly 290. And that's on a combined cycle, granted, but this is not an efficient car.
I would expect to see, 240 or something maybe out of that.
I genuinely, under the same driving conditions, and I'm extremely familiar with this road. I live in North Yorkshire. We come here all the time, don't we? It's a brilliant road.
It's a good driving run, yeah.
I definitely get over 200 miles in a standard range Model 3. This is equivalent of a long range Model 3. Range is such a big thing. It shouldn't be, but it is for people when they're unfamiliar with EVs. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the efficiency of this, if I'm being honest, in EV world. It's got colossal power.
Yeah.
402 brake horsepower. And how much torque?
Oh, nearly 500 foot-pounds, 600 and some newton meters.
So basically, this could tow a train. I would say for an electric vehicle, it's a quiet car, yeah. There's a little bit of wind noise.
Occasionally, isn't it? I don't know if it's been quite windy today outside, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know
but that's been super critical.
Yeah.
I would say that this is a little bit quieter than my Model 3 is.
Yeah.
Did you see the panel gaps on this car?
They're all perfect. They're large, but perfect. They're the same all over, aren't they?
And again, just for those that don't watch the channel, my Model 3, its bumper is misaligned. They said they would fix it.
From when we went to pick it up.
They came up,
Yep.
didn't they, to fix it, got measuring tool out and said, it's bigger there than it is there, but it's within Tesla tolerances. It's within the tolerances. Who has a tolerance for a panel gap?
Yeah.
So what I want is for basically Volvo to build the Model 3.
Yeah, well, it needs it.
Ah! Please tell me, any Polestar owners out there, does this happen to you or is it just me? Am I a man spreader?
Has ever got black knees?
Do you know what I think this car, why it gets so good reviews on various other channels and magazines? If you come out of a petrol car basically.
Yeah.
A 40, 50 grand petrol car and getting this.
Oh yeah.
You're like, holy moly, the speed, the quietness.
Yeah.
It's mightily impressive, but then all of a sudden, if you compare it against other electric vehicles like the Model 3, and I think we need to bring this into the play as well, the Ford Mustang Mach-E.
Which is,
that's
seen
coming
adverts
out.
For that already.
It's coming out. It's a similar price bracket, so it's going to be compared. It's an SUV.
Yeah.
But at least they're saying it's an SUV.
Yep.
Well, I like it, and I have experience for it. I've driven the thing last year, and I really liked it. It's got that Mustang appeal.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes that, but it's got a bit of interest.
Yeah.
It's looks.
I think we're being cruel. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Looks.
You feel like we're being cruel here, but we're being very, 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 very picky, aren't we?
This I'm not too worried about. It will get sorted.
Yeah.
And let me get onto the bit that I had a hand in.
Yeah.
I got commissioned by Google to basically consult on Google Automotive in electric vehicle sort of sense. One of only 6 people in the world that were asked to do that. So when you're using Google Automotive in your Polestar or any other car it turns up in, you're welcome. This is a car that appeals to someone who buys a £250 lampshade.
It is, yeah.
Not because they want to spend £250 on a lampshade, but because they want that specific one and there's only 50 in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of person. It's the grand design thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Someone who will choose a designer radiator.
Yeah.
We would choose the most efficient because we're men.
Yep.
But someone will look at that and go, actually...
Yeah.
Hello, Whitby. Can anybody tell us in the comments who does the nicest fish and chips in Whitby? There must be somebody who lives around there.
One goff. That in no way was "Hey Google."
So overall, what would you say is the year-round average mileage range for this? I'm thinking 210 to 220.
Yeah, I was going to say,
which is a lot off the 289.
220, 230 in my head.
I'll just pass it.
The sports pack, for instance, on this vehicle, just seemed like a very strange option. Who's going to take this to the track?
That needs saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, 2.1 tons of vehicle on a track.
Yes.
£5,000 for that.
The performance pack is something we have to say. Absolutely. It's £5,000. Now it gets you the 20-inch wheels.
Yep.
I quite like them.
Yeah.
Although I probably prefer 19s.
They probably ride better 19s.
I like them. It's a unique design. I don't mind that at all. You get a few other features like these things. And you get Brembo brakes, which, let's face it, are completely unnecessary on anywhere that isn't a track.
Yeah.
And you get adjustable suspension.
Oh, let's do that with the... we can't, can we?
You can't adjust the suspension unless you get underneath the car and just do it
suspension.
manually. Which means only someone who's really actually going to take it on a track. It's not like the Audis or the...
No, where you
press a button.
Yeah.
That means you have to put a lot of effort in and put it on a track. Who's going to take this on a track?
Save you £5,000. Get yourself an old Clio for £5,000. Yeah, and you can even tow it with this. If you run over a marble on the road, you would feel it in this.
It's a track suspension.
It is, yeah.
So on a track, brilliant. On UK roads, not so much. So yeah, why have a track set up for a car that will never go on the track? It's almost like they're trying too hard to make this into a performance brand. Why not wait?
They could say, it's not. This is not a performance vehicle. It's fast.
It's a premium.
It's very fast, isn't it? But it's not a performance vehicle.
I feel like we do need to mention something which is very good and very much requested for in electric vehicle world. Like the Model 3, this can tow. But the Model 3 is stuck with 900 kilograms. This can tow 1,500 kilograms.
Wow.
Which means it's actually towable for maybe not a big caravan. And I'll be honest, I don't know how much a caravan weighs.
I wouldn't want to guess, no.
But if you're into, defecating in a wardrobe, doing washing up on holiday, cleaning, emptying the loo, then this may do you if you've got a caravan. Yeah. And I think that's something that's missing from a lot of EVs. People say, well, until I can get one that can tow,
Do 1,000 miles.
And do 1,000 miles, yeah, and all that sort of stuff. My choice for this personally, if I was buying it again, I would still go for the Model 3. And I am excluding the supercharger network in that one. The build quality is absolutely this over the Tesla.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Over there, it's not. It's a different world.
Yeah, completely different.
The warranty on this, and I think that is worth pointing out here. This is a car that's extremely well built. Volvo are known for great engineering. It's got a 3-year warranty on the car. 7 years, 100,000 miles on the battery, but a 3-year warranty.
You would think they'd be
on
pushing
such engineering for me. And the 60,000 miles, are they basically telling you we guarantee it will work?
That's how long we expect it to work for before something goes wrong. I go for the Tesla.
And you don't own an electric vehicle, let alone a Tesla.
I just can't gel with it. It's just not. For me, again, it's this, which really bugged me. There's nowhere to put my left foot apart from on the footrest, which I know is going to sound stupid.
It's jammed in a corner.
It is, yeah. There's not. And
you can't expand, you can't get
This feels claustrophobic for me, especially when you're sat in that position and the steering wheel's there. It does feel quite claustrophobic. It doesn't feel sporty, where you feel surrounded by the car. It's fair to say, if you get this car, I don't think you'll be disappointed
No. We're being critical because we're disappointed in it, not because it's a bad car. It's a fantastic car. If you buy one of these, you're not going to be disappointed. Take that away from this. Sit in it first, clearly, just to make sure you get comfortable. But assuming you're happy with all that, you will like this car. Is this trying to be a driver's car? And it's not.
I think
it's not an SUV either.
It's trying to be a driver's car, but given that they've only been given this platform to work on, if they gave them another car
or a custom chassis,
and
this is why we like the Honda E so much. That chassis was designed for that car. The purpose that they built that car for, it is perfect for it. This has been adapted to fit a solution, and you will never get that perfection from an adaptation. But this is the key that comes with this near £50,000 car. It's cheap, it's nasty, I mean, look at it. You don't need it. I should point out, you can use your phone to unlock the car and various other means. You don't need this
in this day and age. Why couldn't it be brushed aluminium or something like that? Brushed metal or...
It won't, all you have to do is change the casing.
Glass. Make like a glass finish to it.
Change the casing. Again, a detail that's so easy to fix and that's been missed. Yeah, fantastic car with just a few flaws or annoyances that put me off personally. And you, I guess.
Yeah.
We're going to go and have a look at Whitby Abbey. So thanks for watching. Again, please do subscribe because that's how we get these cool cars. Bye, I suppose. See ya.
See you later.
Now I'm going to finish my chips off. Tell it's not me, is it?
I tell you, it's
right on the
just
spot.
on the spot.
You done it again?
Yeah.